So they weren't as last minute. Were they last minute? I don't know, but you got your prep sheets anyway. And the first scale on that is the A natural minor. So I thought we might have a little run through some of the scales that were on the sheet. And this one changes position from the 5th to the 4th just for one little part on the G string. So it starts here. It's important to try your best to have a systematic fingering if you're going to practice this scale, so that when you do, you know, if you decide to move it up the fretboard, these are all movable scale patterns that you can transpose into different keys. So first of all, the A minor, that's what one of the songs that we're going to do is in A minor, so we're probably going to use that one. So where that position change is, try and work out a good way to do it. You could just stay in the 5th position like this, if you can all see that, and then stretch out a position when it gets to the 4th fret here, just on that G string 4th fret, and then you can use the little finger on the 7th fret and then get your first finger, index finger, ready to go onto the 2nd string, like that kind of thing. Yeah, and go up to there. And a good way to practice these scales is to go to the top note and just come straight back down. Yeah, so you don't double the top note, and it's a good way to do it. So straight up the mountain and climb back down. So and a bit of steady practice, try and get a nice sound. So trying to smoothly connect the notes without any overlaps. You know, when you cross over strings, try not to overlap. Otherwise you'll end up with maybe some harmony that you don't really want, or some dissonance that you don't really want. So let's practice that a few times, and then maybe we'll have a look at how to move that up the fretboard and talk about the benefits of that. So after 4 we'll go in just one crotchet beat. Just do downstrokes and if at first to learn the scale if you're not familiar with it. If you are familiar with it and you feel like you can do alternate picking, just do alternate between down, up, like that. Yeah. Okay, so don't stress too much about the picking at the moment, that can come a bit later. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down. And end with the index finger there. So the fingers that I'm using are in line with the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th frets, like that, until I cross over the position. Then I move to 4, 5, 6 and 7 like that. Yeah, so I kind of move out like that. So let's try that again, a little bit quicker this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, sack the teacher. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you were then going to move your progression up to B minor, yeah, if you just use some hand signals, you know, that would be 7, that would be 8, that would be 9, 10. Which position would you be in if you wanted to move that up to B minor? Anybody? Which one? Yes, that's the one. I like the way you did this as well. That was Guy, by the way. That was his hand signal. Used the 2. Notice I was polite. I used this one. Anyway, never mind. Okay, I like that. So move up to, you know, move this up and down the fretboard until you know, get it fluent first in one position, and then maybe move up to B flat. what it does is it just gives you a bit of certainty in all the keys, you know. That's something that you can practice in between. Yes, David?
Yeah. Can I ask a question? This is A natural minor.
Yes, it is, yeah.
That's different to A minor, yes?
Well, it's actually... Right, that's quite a big theory question, that. So if you think about the key of C, all the white notes on the keyboard, yeah? The natural minor starts on the A and goes all the way up to the next A on the white keys, yeah? And that's just called A minor, but in classical music they call A minor this one here, you know, just in classical music. In rock we would just sometimes call it natural minor, sometimes just call it minor, but this is the one. That's the harmonic minor. Sometimes in classical you will call that the minor scale. So just call it the minor scale if you want, but it's natural minor, because in the minor key there are various different scales, quite a few that are classified as minor. Okay, so that one, move that, practice it and go up and down the fretboard with that one till you get comfortable with it. Then we've got this next one, which is the harmonic minor. We'll have a little quick look at that one. I don't know whether anybody had time to run over that one. But to get this one really fluent does take a bit of time, but personally I think it's worth it. So this one starts in the 5th position and it moves out a little bit to the 4th as well. So then it's got a G sharp here. Then it moves out to the 4th fret. I'll just do that one for the position again so you can watch the left hand position on the screen. Then you stretch out there. You stay in the 4th position for this bit. Move back into 5th position just there. Now then, I wouldn't expect, if you've never done that one up to today, that I wouldn't expect you to get that one by the end of this lesson or 5 minutes. It's one that takes a little bit of time to practice. So if everybody's happy to just put that one into your practice routine rather than dwell on it a bit too much now, it's from the tab there, you can see how that is played. The next one, which is the most important one, and what we call this is the silver bullet. This one's called the silver bullet. It's the A minor pentatonic. So you can move it all over the place and play in all sorts of different keys with it. So actually, sorry, yeah, that's it. It's in the 5th position, this one. You can play it in various different positions, but this is the common one that we all sort of should know. And if you don't know it, we should practice this one for a little bit and then discuss how to move it up and down the fretboard. So pentatonic, stick with your first finger, your index finger lined up with the 5th fret, sorry, all the way through this one. But don't hold a bar position. Don't do that. I've seen people do this before, and it sort of restricts your movement a little bit. They hold the bar like that and go like that. It kind of restricts your movement a little bit, and it's not really necessary. So I would move across the fretboard, 2 notes per string, like that, until you get to the last string, just 1 note and come back down. Alternate picking on this one, I think everybody should be okay with that. So we'll try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now some people will say, why don't we do the 8th fret here? Well, when you come to improvising, you can use that 8th fret on the 1st string, and sometimes you do see the pattern written that way. But because it's complete 2 octaves, it balances rhythmically well this way, but that doesn't mean that you can't extend it to notes that are slightly out of the position. So any scale has a set, a set sort of number of, the pentatonic has 5 notes, and the notes in A pentatonic minor, wherever you are on the fretboard, are A, C, D, E, G, and then back to A again. So wherever you find those notes on the fretboard, they will work over an A minor progression. Okay, so we're going to try that one again. So we'll practice that a few times. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we speed it up a little bit this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, now then, let's move it up to C minor. Yeah, we'll move it up to C minor. I can see some people have got it there. That's it. So yeah, everybody okay? Anybody stuck on that? Don't know what I mean? So everybody's okay with going to C minor there? Yeah, on the 8th fret. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Let's go to G minor now. G minor pentatonic. Yeah, have a think about that. That's it, I think. Yeah, see people getting that there. Down at the 3rd fret. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's a little bit of moving around the fretboard with that pattern. And that's an essential one to know. And what I think we'll do now is we'll just has everybody got the warm-up songs sheet, chord sheet? Has everybody got that? If you get that, take just a minute to get that. And what I'd like to do is just warm up by going through the Black Magic Woman song at the beginning there. Just a rhythm a little bit like this, so just put a stop on the last bar of D minor there, and we'll go around and round that. Now I'm just going to put a little loop on the loop pedal so that I can then demonstrate a little bit of improvisation. So if you give me just a second, and you can jam along if you want, and I'll just put a loop down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So just keep playing along with that. A minor, then D minor, then a G minor coming up, and back to a D minor, and an A minor. 2, 3, 4. just for a second there and discuss a little bit of what we were doing just there. So some people, I noticed one or two people were jamming along with that as well on the lead side of things. One or two people were playing a little bit of improvisation there. So one of the key things I think about improvisation, we touched on this on the other creative guitarist we did when we were doing Little Wing, was trying to be stable with the chords, you know, work out where the root notes of the chords are and use them as target notes, if you like. So when you're on the D minor there, and we'll look at the scale, if you start an idea in the first bar and then it goes to D minor in the second bar, you want to have a really stable sounding note when the second chord comes along, and then more so when it changes to a different chord. You know, so say for example you've got the D minor there. You're trying to do a little melodic idea and leave a little space, and also anticipate the chord changes. And I'm just paraphrasing the melody of the song a little bit. And then I get, when it goes to the A chord there, I don't want to be on a D for definite. A D would be a bad note to be on, even though that's the root note of the scale. That's going to clash with the A minor chord a little bit. So maybe we're looking at something, you know, you're going from D minor, try and think about where the A and the G are. So you've got the D there, the A there, and the G there. Yeah. And try and think of it when you go to the D, and I'm landing on an A there, yeah, so I'm getting that A, so it sounds good when the chord changes to the A minor, and then it goes back to the D again, and I try to land on a G there because there's a G minor chord coming in there, and then leave a little space because you probably need a few extra notes outside of the pentatonic with this one. For, you know, to really make the most of it. But if you stick into pentatonic for now, leave a little gap there and maybe just think of a phrase that will come in over the last couple of chords. And then when it ends there, try and end on a D. Now, they're not the only options, but they're the most stable options, really. It's the safest way to do it. So I'll put the loop pedal on and then just try and think about, I'll demonstrate this and see if you can think about the changes that I'm sort of anticipating there. Okay, so I'll play that again. Land on a D there. And then an A. And then a G. Leave a gap. Leave a D there, like that, yeah? Do you get the idea, everyone? Does anybody... Some people will have different ideas to that. You could land on different notes to that, but I would say you'd be really successful, first of all, in terms of the stability of the harmony and lining up what you play. Lining up the melody stuff that you play with the harmony that's underneath it. And I think that's one of the important things about improvisation. So let's have a few runs through that, and then you can just improvise. I'll put the loop on. I'll just play a little bit of rhythm so that I don't distract you from your ideas. So I'll put the loop on after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. folks. Any comments? How did you get on with that? Anybody, any questions? Yeah, Ian, yeah. Just if you unmute your mic and then yeah.
We're in D minor pentatonic. The chords are going D minor, A minor, and we're staying in that D minor key.
Yeah.
Would you ever move away as when the A minor chord came along, play in the A minor pentatonic shape?
Would I ever move away from it?
Does that send it out of key? Does that send it out of key?
No, that would be fine. That's you know, when I mentioned at the beginning, the silver bullet is it's like one scale that you can use generally for most things that are kind of 1, 4, 5 and general chord progressions, but you can move each scale with the chord as well. So if you try, you know, if you go, we'll play an A minor chord and then just sort of check. So you're in D minor. Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. So like the riffs would just move around and then went, got a black magic woman, and then you get a G minor. Maybe that note isn't so good. But most of it will, yeah. I mean, in this context, that'll definitely work, yeah. In some contexts it doesn't work so well, but you usually find out fairly quick when you do move the scale and it doesn't sound quite right. But in this one, yes, definitely, yeah.
And Tony, did you have a question, or was it just me? Tony, did you have a question? Hang on.
Tony, yeah.
No, I'm all good.
Okay, that's fine. Great.
Okay, good stuff. Right, so that's a one that you could, you know, that we do that often on weekends, and I know for some people who are a little bit ahead of that and probably want to get the teeth into other things, you can extend what you do a little bit on that. And if the A natural minor that we learned at the beginning there, you can actually move that up to D. And you could use that to give you an extra 2 or 3 notes to play with there. Obviously, the reason why we use pentatonics, they sound really good and you can get loads of melodies from them, but also they're quite safe as starting points for improvisation because you haven't got those tension notes in there. You know, the second and the sixth note can be quite tense over some of the chords, and you've got to learn how to not to stay on them for too long. So that the pentatonic works really well, but we could try the D natural minor, and I found myself wanting to slip down to this note, which is part of the D natural minor. So it would be a case of practicing that D natural minor in this position. Like that, and then trying to think of, you know, if you think about lead playing in this, if you think about your scale, quite often the lower notes of the scale are used for the riffs and the higher notes are used for more melodic ideas. You know, so say if we were going back to the D minor and then it goes down to the A minor. So I'm using some of the natural minor notes there, a little bit more of that pattern, just yeah. So moving away from just the pentatonic, you can practice that natural minor and see if you can come up with anything on that, which again takes a bit of time if you've mainly been used to the pentatonic. So let's try a little bit of that. Yeah, we'll practice the scale in D minor a few times just to get you familiar with that position, and we'll just go through that. Then try the loop again and try using D natural minor over that and see if you can come up with any other tones or ideas. So try the scale. So same as the A natural minor, but up at the 10th fret. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we'll try the loop. Now again, if you've never done that scale before and you've never improvised with that scale, don't be disappointed if you don't get miracles on the first go, because it just takes time to get used to those new notes and to settle into those notes and find out which part of the chord progression will work with some of those notes, like that one. That's quite a nice one to use there. And when we do this, I'm going to have a listen to where that note comes in, and I'll give you a few ideas about where you can play that. So after 4, get ready. Just either improvise or play the chords, it's up to you. We'll go around a few times. You can do chords first time and then come in with your solo second time. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I think you kind of get the idea, but again, that takes practice, and you'll need a little practice loop for this, which I'll, once we've decided which songs we do, whatever songs we do over the period of the 3 lessons, there'll be some. I'll put some loops in there for you. Okay, so now that natural minor works pretty well. The thing is, we've just been playing over scales, but what about techniques and different things like that? What can you do to just take it away from just going up and down a scale? Now, I'm sure quite a few of you have already discovered a few different ideas there. Maybe a bend or something like that, I think this note here, bend like that, or a unison bend, which is 2 notes to, of the same pitch, but the first note is a fixed pitch, and the other note on the G, bend it up so you bend it a full tone to get it to sound the same pitch. That's a good one, unison bend, with a little bit of drive on, sounds really nice. That's quite good. Hammer-ons and pull-offs. I think, what we call legato technique. Maybe something like that, where you hammer on and, you just hammer on and pull off. like like a fast sort of succession of notes, that kind of thing. Pre-bend, so you bend a note up the pitch and then you release it. Those kind of things are good. If you have any guitar books anywhere where you might have a book that's got tab in it, you'll see at the beginning of the tab is called the notation, or the tab legend it's called. And even though that's just for information, if you actually go through all of the techniques in that legend, it's actually a good idea. You can get some ideas from that. If you haven't got one, I could scan one and photocopy it and send it to you. So this time, let's try and use a few bends and a few hammer-ons, pull-offs, that sort of thing. So maybe if we're going across the D minor, something like that, a little phrase like that. Something like that, a unison bend on the first two strings, which will be the hold down the 10th fret, and then bend up the second string till it's the same pitch there. Now it takes a little while to get used to getting the pitch accurate. Best way is to hear the high note first, like this, and then just bend the note until you keep that pitch in your mind there, and then just do till it sounds the same. Now 9 times out of 10 when you first start that, you might bend sharp or flat, so you might go over there. And the idea is to try your best to get that as accurate as you can when you do it first time. So that's good. So you've got a D chord, and you could go, got a black magic woman. Then you go to an A chord, got a black magic woman. You got that one there, and then back to the D. Then you got the G. Okay, and then a little bit of a bend. And a few pull-offs and that kind of thing, yeah? So let's try a little bit of that this time. So I'll do a quick demo. I'll go around once and then just play the chords, and then I'll stick the... I've got a little talent booster rack down here, a rack of talent boosters. So I'll use one of those, and I'll do a little solo first with a few of those bends in, just to give you some ideas. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Your turn. Okay, hopefully that's given you a little idea of one or two things you can do. Anybody got any questions? Any suggestions? Yeah. Okay. Right. Now then, on the warm-up sheet there, we won't go through all of them tonight, but we'll have a look at maybe the blues breakers in A minor. Maybe if you have a listen to it, it's got a tempo change in the middle of it, but the first half of the song is based on a kind of that kind of riff there. I've got a backing track ready for that one, and I can give you a copy of that as well. And so you could have a look at those, and maybe in the next lesson or two we might do one or two others like that, a few little warm-ups. But now we'll move on to I'll just find out the sheet in lesson 1, which is lesson 1 full score. We're going to have a little look at that one. The Creative Guitarist Minor Scales lesson 1. Yeah. Exercise 1 there, chords and arpeggios. So it just tells you there. Arpeggios or broken chords, these are all movable as well. So the arpeggio is just the notes of the chord. So if I play an A minor chord, it has those notes, but I've just written out just a few of them, just the top half of the top octave of that really. So a little bit like Stairway to Heaven. That kind of. So when you're on an A minor chord, as well as the scales that you've got, you can use an arpeggio idea, if you like. It just means that there's wider intervals between the notes, and they don't follow the steps of the scale. They skip out some of the steps of the scale. And then the next one is an F major. Okay, so we're down on bar number 9 now, where it says arpeggios. We've skipped the chords just for a minute. And then we've got F major. Okay, so we'll just practice those two first. We'll try the A minor, practice it 3 or 4 times, and we'll just do it 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 and 4 and. Now let's try the F major. So this is in the 5th position. So it's this position here, this is like a C shape. If you think of the cage system, it's like the C shape moved up, and it's kind of, it's actually just the notes of that chord really, that C shape on the 5th fret. You might have come across that one before. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that and try and separate the notes a little bit, so as if you're playing a melody. Like that kind of thing. So let's try that. 2, 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 and that kind of thing. So now when you practice them, it might be a good idea to do one and then the other and just go backwards and forwards a little bit like this. So you just go 2, 3, 4 and 2, and then just go backwards and forwards so that you're moving from one chord to the next. So any of those, if you're playing an A minor chord, any of those notes there, they're all safe notes to play. And then F major. with an F major chord, they're safe as well. I think Miles Davis might have called them butter notes, but I don't know whether what he means by that. So the safe notes with the chord. The next one is E7, and this might be a one that this is a one that maybe you haven't come across before. Some of you might have come across those other ones before, but and that's the dominant seventh, which is the the bluesy sounding seventh. Yeah. And so we'll practice that one a little bit, but actually take just a couple of minutes just to look at that yourselves, because that's probably one that you might not be totally familiar with.
And Gary, is that
Yeah.
arpeggio just over like a C7 type shape, is it?
Yeah, it's like a C7 shape, yeah.
Okay.
But with some chord voicings, it's worth bearing in mind. Obviously, these are, well, you could use the word linear because they, but as opposed to the piano where you could play them all in a line, you can't on the guitar, so you have to kind of, when you play a C7, there's one note missing from the chord, which is the fifth. You've got the fifth missing, but you've got the stronger tones of the chord there. So that's like a C7 moved up. So if we're going back to cage system again, C7, move it up to the 5th fret, and that just becomes E7. Yeah. And then the arpeggio. Let's practice that a few times, yeah? So we'll go over that a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, now once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now the D minor is next, and I've put that one in at the 5th position, and these are all round about the same area of the fretboard, and the idea behind that is so you can learn how to change from one to the other without moving it too far out, except for the next one does move a little bit, but most of them can stay around about that position. D minor. So at that one, sometimes you can use this you can flatten your finger for the 2 notes that are at the 7th fret. Just use your 3rd finger and roll it like that. You just roll the finger. I think some people call that the Paganini technique. You know, the violinist Paganini. It's used in some of his pieces. Sorry. Sometimes you can, on the way back, you can use 2 fingers, or you can roll it like that. Just practice that one slowly, because that's a funny position, that one. Let's just try that a couple of times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll the finger. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the next one, the last one that we're going to do is the B half diminished, or the B minor 7 flat 5. And I think I might have mentioned to a few of your students who have been on my courses before that often in the key of C you often would use the 3 major chords and the 3 minor chords, and then would say just ignore this one for now and you'll learn it later. Yeah, and in the minor key this is really important because it's part of the 2-5-1 progression in the A minor, which is using chord 2 and then chord 5, okay, which is the foundation of jazz chord progressions, really, the 2-5-1. So it's a good idea to learn this, and this is the arpeggio that goes with it. So it's got a bit more dissonance than the others. Sorry. So that's the root, flattened third, flattened fifth, and the minor seventh. Okay, so now then they go with the progression that I put on the prep sheet, which is for Smooth by Santana, which is one of the songs that I thought would just pick a few bits out of the song to do. And I've just written out that you can practice those arpeggios in your spare time, in your sessions, you know, practice sessions. Just do a bit each day, stick it into your practice routine. And what I've done is I've put a basic outline solo that I've put down there, which is similar to the one on the promo video. But what we're going to do is go up to the top of this sheet, go to the top, and we're just going to learn the chords and play the chords first. So you've got your chords there, then you've got your arpeggios that fit those chords. Yeah. So there's quite a nice what's called a syncopated or offbeat rhythm to this. So it's kind of like so it's just a basic sample of part of the song. So going from A minor first, just find the A minor, then the F chord. Some of you might play that in a different position, which we can discuss as well. And then A minor, F, and E7 again. Then a D minor, F major, B minor 7 flat 5, and an E7, and then finish off with section A, like that. So we're just going to practice that. Just have a little wander through the chords there. If there's any chords, just a couple of minutes, and just play those chord shapes, making sure that you're familiar with them before we do this. And we will probably come back to this as well over the space of the 3 lessons. So if you don't get it perfect at first, then practice it a little bit. So we're basically going to do it a little bit like this kind of thing, you know, round about this. Now then, what we'll do is first of all we'll loop the first line. So the first.
Just a quick question. Ian, did you have a question?
Has anybody got a question? Oh yeah, Ian. Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't got this sheet. There's no chance you could just shout out the chords again for me. Could I just?
Certainly, yeah, certainly. We can put it up on the screen and share the screen as well if you want. It's A minor,
yeah,
F,
yeah,
and E7.
yeah.
And we're just going to do that twice, and then I'll give you the rest of the chords when we do the second line. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So rather than confuse things, we're just going to go like this: A minor, F, E7, and the same again. And we're just going to loop that, just go around and around that. So we're just looping the top line there, yeah? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, A minor, F, E7. round again. Keep that going. Okay, and then we'll take a little pause there. Let's have a look at the second line. Okay, and the second line is D minor, F, B minor 7 flat 5. Now that's the one that most people might not be familiar with, might have come across it. So D minor, F, B minor 7 flat 5, and then an E7. So let's just practice those chords a little bit slower. We'll do a little slow, so just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just go around those that bottom line. So A minor, F and E7 at the end there. Now we'll go back to the D minor, F, B half diminished 7th, and then A minor, let's pick that up a little bit, we'll speed that up a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor, F and E7. And we're not doing any syncopated rhythm, we'll keep the rhythm straight. Okay, now then let's do the same. Let's do the 8 bars now. So we'll do the same with the top. We'll do the top line and then straight into the bottom line. Okay, so we're going to go around the whole 8 bar progression now, and we'll just get to the end and repeat it. Okay, so after 4 from the top. No rhythm, just keep the chord changes quite straight the way I'm doing them for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the top, A minor, F, E7, and then again, D minor, once more, all the way around from the top. Finish at the end there. Now then, practicing chords that way is a good way of listening to the sound that you produce, and then you can, if you can hear any sort of you know, any notes that are buzzing or anything like that, you can look at the chords individually before you put a complex rhythm in. This rhythm's got some anticipations, which just means that the chords come in before what would be the expected beat in a way, so they're pushed a little bit. So they come in before this. If you take the first bar and you keep it straight like that, then if you put the rhythm in that's written, it's like 1, 2, 3, and 2, and 3, and 4, and like this. So it's quite a sort of syncopated Latin-y rhythm. second line, I'll just do that again. I did it slightly different to how it's written, so it's like. Okay, so let's try that. We'll loop around that and try this time putting the rhythm in. If you don't get the rhythm exactly the way it's written, just try and keep it nice so that you're getting a bit of the coordination there, making sure that you're in time with the beat or the pulse of the tune. Okay, so we'll try that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the top. Once more. Okay, so as long as if you get those accents in on the pushes there, that'll give it its rhythm, the rhythm that you want. It's a little bit faster, a bit up tempo from that, and there's a backing track for that one. Looking at the next part of the sheet, we've done the arpeggios. If we skip down past the arpeggios, Ronnie, and what I've done is just written out a little bit of the basic outline of the intro melody for the Santana tune, Smooth. I haven't put any articulation bends or anything like that in yet, because I thought we'd try and learn the straight melody, because some of the rhythms are a little bit complex as well. So we're just going to go a little bit like this. Now on the next bit it's got some bends in, but I'm just going to stick to 1 fret. And then a little at the end there. Now, if you look at the notation, you'll notice there's a sharp sign next to one of those notes there, which is a G sharp, which if you replace the G natural from the A natural minor with a G sharp, you end up with the harmonic minor, which gives it that kind of Latin flavour, that sound, you know. So over the top of a backing track, we just would play that. But what I'd like to do for now is just, I'll put the loop down for this. I'd like to just have a look at it phrase by phrase. Just have a little look at this. So we're starting up at the 8th fret there. So just have a little look at that, and then you're going, it's on an off beat, so it starts on the and of 3, so it's 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. That's the first phrase. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and again. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, like that, yeah? Now for the next section, I would move so that your first finger is in line with the 9th fret. So index finger on the left hand on the 9th fret like this, and then yeah, so that's 9th fret. I'm going to move up into the 10th position. To get the last little cluster of notes there. So there's 4 notes involved there. That's the G sharp on the 9th fret, then the A natural, then the B and the C. Yeah, so like that. that. So the first two phrases together. Okay, so let's practice that first line a little bit, yeah. Again, you can use a distortion pedal for this, but I think sometimes practicing something with a clean sound first, so that you're making sure that you're actually achieving the notes and you're hearing all of the notes. It's probably better at first. So we're going to go in after 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I put a few slides in there at your own discretion. Just do that. I will do a fully articulated version of it, but I think for now learning the notes is really important. And then on the next line, so it'll say bar number 28, you'll see a 28 on the left hand corner of that. Yeah. Now this starts on the and of 1, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And so the da 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 ba bum. Okay, so that has actually got a bend and a release like that, which we'll do later, but I think just learn the melody notes first, yeah. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Like that, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and then on the last part has a little semiquaver there, so it's on the and of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'm sliding up to that last note there. And that again has the G sharp in there, so it's from the harmonic minor scale that we didn't practice a lot, but you could put a little bit of practice in on that one. So we've got this, yeah, and that's just based on a loop of the first 4 bars of chords that we just learned, so it doesn't use the second run of chords. Okay, so I'm going to put a little loop down of this so that we can play along with it. So 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to redo that loop a little bit. Yeah, just give me a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you get the idea of how that fits in, and then we will put in the articulations later. Okay. Any questions while we're on this one? Any questions, anyone? Is everybody okay with that? Yes, Tony, yeah?
Yeah, you know the last bar?
Yeah?
Could you just play that kind of close up to the screen as you can?
Yeah, this last bar here where it goes. Yeah, like this.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
Ronnie's just being shared me.
Are you there yet? Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's 2, 3, 4, 1. So I'm in the 5th position there. Yeah. Yeah. It's this actually it's the speed of it as well, you know, to get those semi-quaver beats in. Probably a good idea to practice it slowly in sections as well. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So we'll just have a little run, you know, if you can't play this straight away, just run through the chords. But I'll play the chords for you and see if anybody can just do that solo. It might be one that you might want to practice over the next few days, and then we'll put in another few ideas into it in the next lesson. So starting from A minor, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll put the loop on. Okay, so that's a bit of an idea there. Obviously, your backing track, when you get the backing track, will be a little bit more in time with that loop there as a tiny little...
Gary,
Yes, Martin.
can I just request you make? We can't hear the loop over your lead.
Yeah, I know. Right, turn the loop up a bit, yeah?
Well, perhaps you turn down a bit.
Oh, thanks.
That would be better, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Wow, wasn't that subtle? Okay.
I like your subtle little remarks, Martin. Yeah, see if I can get under this table here without blacking out. Right, is this okay for you, Martin? Like, I'll put the loop on. Is that better?
It's better if you could have distortion on it would be even better.
All right, yeah. Anything else? Any other requests? I'll take the loop off for now and I'll just play the chords, yeah? So if I just play the chords and then you can just jam along to it. After 4, 1. So you need to come in after 3 for the pickup. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, like that, yeah? So if you do that, right, I'll play the chords. Okay, so after 3, come in with the pickup there. 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. loop it. Okay. Just turn the mic down a little bit for on the amp. Right, we'll try that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ba da da da. Da 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 da. And round again. Okay, so yeah, any questions, queries? Yes, okay, Ronnie? Yeah. Yes, Paul, yeah?
Can you hear me okay?
I can now, yeah.
Could I just ask on the third bar of exercise 2, when you're going for the 12th to the 13th and back to 12,
Yeah.
were you sliding with your ring finger then rather than your little finger?
I was, yeah. I was going like this. I was moving out of position like this and sliding up like that. There's numerous different ways to do it as well, you know. So you could be up in this position, and there's always that idea as well. So because I'm not really saying that we're learning the Santana version, we're just using it as a kind of an inspiration or a vehicle for the improvisation, but he does actually play it up here. But I just would sort of stuck to this part of the scale here, so it wasn't overcomplicating it a bit. Okay, no problem. Any other questions? Yeah?
You could also slide up to that 13th note as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I was doing that at first, yeah, and then I was hammering on the second time. Just going like this, so sliding up from the 9th to the 10th. Or moving up, not necessarily sliding. So moving the position and then slide. Like that, and then this bit here, it's a bend here, but I thought it might be just a good idea to learn the melody for now and do the articulations later, but because that's going to take a little bit of practice to get like that, yeah, which I'll put that in later. And that's the harmonic minor bit there. It's harmonic minor, yeah.